the Israelites or the Jews are considered to be the persecuted person in history, okay, and in all countries. Okay? Because the Jews is considered to be hated by people, especially the Christians, because somehow the Christians were condemning the Jews because they are the one who killed Jesus. They are the one who crucified Jesus. And they are the one who do not recognize Jesus to be a God, the Savior. So there is a term anti-Semitism against the Jews, against the Israelites. So in history, they are continually being persecuted. Okay? So now we have seen here, even though they have been persecuted, especially in the time of Hitler in Germany. So Germany has the total control of Europe, and all Jews are really imprisoned, and eventually they were executed. 6 million Jews in the time of Hitler in World War II were really executed. There were gas and there were yung sinasabi natin fire squad. They were really executed. So 6 million were executed in the time of Hitler in World War II. Okay? But even up to now, they are being persecuted. But the Jews never gave up. The Jews never gave up. Yeah, they continue to be strong, and they continue to be resilient. They never gave up. So let us review review 3,000 years of history of the Jews. Okay? So let's go So sino nga pala ang pinaka who is the father of Judaism? Who is the father of the Israelites? Sino sinasabi ng pinakaama ng mga Hudyo? Yun din ang ama ng mga Muslim, sinasabi. And also, Christianity came from this person. Can you write down in your discussion box? Okay? And then sige. Who is that person that considered to be the father of all nations? The father of Judaism, the father of Islam, and the father of Christianity. Sino yun? So 3 syllable. and start ang pangalan niya start with letter A. Sino yon? Who is considered to be the father of a great nation? The father of Judaism, the father of Christianity, and the father of Islam. So kindly write down in your discussion box. Go to your discussion box and write there who is the father of Judaism or Israelites, and who is the father of the same, who is the father of Christianity, and the father of Islam. So kindly answer in your discussion box. Okay, go to your discussion box. Number na? Oh, boom, number 19. Okay, go to discussion box number 19. Who is the father of So still have 20 seconds to answer. Come on. And answer who is the father of Judaism, and who is the father of Christianity, and the father of the Muslim. Okay. So can you answer? Come on. Can you write down who is the father of Judaism, who is the father of Islam, and Christianity. Isa lang yun. 3 syllable. Start with letter A. Okay, come on. Answer, everyone. Okay, 10 seconds more. Come on. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Francesca, hello. Who is the father of Judaism and Christianity and Islam? Hello, Francesca.
Si Abraham po. Ako po ba?
Ay, sandali. Hindi ko nadidinig. Hindi ko na ano pala. Sorry, Francesca. Yan. Ulitin mo nga, Francesca. Who's the father of Judaism?
Ako po bang Francesca?
Yes.
Dalawa po kami kasi.
Oo.
Si Abraham po.
Si Abraham. Very good. Abraham is the father of all nations. So, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Okay? So, now let us review. Okay? Let us review the 3,000 years of Judaism. Okay? Review lang tayo ngayon, ha? So, can you write down? Take notes, ha? Take notes, mga 30 lang. But if bullet form, bullet form and number it from 1 to 30. So you can go beyond 30. It will be an additional point. Okay? So let us go now to let me share to you my video now. Okay. So 4,000 years. Okay. Yan. Ay, tingnan ko Marcel. Yan.
One day, God, or Lord as most commonly referred to in the Old Testament, asks Abram to leave his country and people, travel to the land of Canaan, and establish a new tribe there. According to the Old Testament, at the age of 75, Abram heeds this call, setting out on this journey with his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot. After a long journey, they arrive in the promised land of Canaan, where they are told that this land is chosen for them and granted to their lineage. But the land of Canaan was already inhabited by various Canaanite tribes before he arrived. These tribes are mentioned in several passages of the Old Testament. The most frequently mentioned Canaanite tribes are the Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, Jebusites, Perizzites, and Girgashites. The Canaanites were a diverse group of people with their own distinct cultures and languages. They were primarily agriculturalists, but they also engaged in trade and other economic activities. The Canaanites were also known for their religious practices, which included polytheism.
So, the common religion during that time is polytheism. They worship many gods. It's already a universal practice. Okay? Kahit makikita mo sa Europe, sa Asia, even here in the Philippines, we have many gods. We worship many gods. Kaya maraming anito. Maraming mga spirito. Okay? So, it's a universal practice of history. They worship many gods. That's why the very first monotheism, a worship only of one God, started with Abraham. So, from his tribe, Israelites and the Jews practiced the worship of one God. And we came from Abraham, so we also practice and acknowledge one God. And also from Islam also came from Abraham, from Ishmael. The Arabs also worship one God, the Muslim. Okay? So yun. So formally, even up to now, there's still some who worship other gods. Okay? So, yeah, we continue.
The biblical narrative does not provide a specific date for his arrival in Canaan, but it is generally believed to have taken place in the early 2nd millennium BC. The relationship between him and the Canaanites is complex and often fraught with tension. In some passages, the Canaanites are portrayed as hospitable and welcoming to him and his family, while in other passages they are portrayed as hostile and antagonistic. Despite the challenges he faced, he eventually established himself and his family in Canaan. At the age of 99, Abram makes a covenant with the Lord, and his name is changed to Abraham. Abraham dies at the age of 175 and is
175 siya namatay. Ewan ko lang kung paano yung calendar nila noon. But according to the scripture, Abraham died at the age of 175. Okay?
buried in the cave of Machpelah near the city of Hebron, located in today's West Bank. Abraham had two sons. One was Isaac, and the other was Ishmael. Isaac is regarded as the ancestor of the Jews, while Ishmael is considered the ancestor of the Arabs. These brothers share the same father, but have different mothers. Isaac was born to Sarah, while Ishmael was born to Hagar. Isaac, around the age of 60, is granted a son even though his wife is barren. His name is Jacob. Jacob by the Lord is given the name Israel. The 12 sons of Jacob are the first generation of the children of Israel, or the Israelites. The lineages of these 12 sons eventually form the 12 tribes of Israel. According to the narrative in the Old Testament, under the leadership of Joseph, one of Jacob's 12 sons, Israelites entered Egypt. Initially, they lived in peace and security in Egypt, since Joseph had attained a significant position in the Egyptian administration. However, as the regime in Egypt changed, so did their situation in the country. The population of Israelites was increasing, and the new Pharaoh started to feel uneasy about them.
So this is the story about in Egypt. When you know already the story of Joseph the dreamer, di ba? The one who are able to interpret their dreams. So you already know that, di ba, the Pharaoh have a dream, but they cannot understand, and it was Joseph who gave the interpretation, the meaning of the dream. So there will be a bounty, 7 years of bounty, but after 7 years of sagana, okay, after 7 years, nagkakaroon naman ng pangin. So tagtuyot, walang tutubo, walang yung mga halaman mamamatay kasi mga tubig din magiging scarce. So Joseph was chosen by the emperor, by the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to manage yung harvest lahat. So nag-ipon sila, nag-ipon. Kaya nung after 7 years of sagana, nakaipon sila. So after 7 years, yun na, nagkaroon ng tagtuyot na sa famine. So hindi naubusan ng pagkain ang Egyptian. In fact, ang dami nila to the point na pwede sila pa magbenta. Okay? At doon nga, nakita natin yung story ni Joseph at saka yung mga brothers niya. So yun, napupunta sila sa Egypt at yun, at dahil nga sabi pumunta sa pero yung si Joseph, sabi niya, pwede ba yung mga kapatid ko, yung uncle namin dito muna sa Egypt para hindi na sila pabalik-balik. So, naligtas yung mga angkan ni Joseph. Pinayagan. Siyempre ba, ang laki ng utang na loob ng Pharaoh kay Joseph. Joseph was literally the one who saved Egypt, the Egyptian. Kaya sige, okay lang. So, nandun sila, sagana sila. At doon sa Egypt, tumagal sila doon. Okay? So 7 years, nandun, beyond, still they went there, they stayed there for more than, not only another 7 years, but they have been in Egypt for several hundreds of years. Kaya lang problema, sinabi they have already a new Pharaoh that do not know Joseph. Kasi, nung panahon ni Joseph, ang Pharaoh hindi Egyptian. Yung hari ng Egypt, hindi Egyptian. They were conqueror. The Hyksos. So, the Hyksos invaded Egypt at yung Egypt ay natalo sa mga Hyksos at they are under the rule of the Hyksos king. But eventually, siguro after 100 years or 200 years, they revolted against the Hyksos. So now the Egyptian regained their rule. So nagkaroon na ngayon ng Egyptian king. An Egyptian king talaga, hindi isang foreigner. Okay? And somehow this nakita ng mga ng Egyptian king, pumunta siya sa Delta Nile, doon kasi tumitira sa Delta Nile yung mga Hudyo. Nakita niya, ang dami ng mga Hudyo. Isa kasi sa pinakamagana ng mga Hudyo, magaling sila maggawa ng bata. Kaya somehow, the king decided to do something to lessen the population of the Jews. Okay? O Israelites ang tawag sa kanila noon, Israelite. But eventually, ang ginawa sa kanila, pinagtrabahoan sila. The whole day. Tapos, inutusan pa yung mga medreb na patayin yung mga sanggol ng mga Hudyo pag ihahanap. Pero yung mga lalaki lang papatayin na sanggol. Pero yung babae, wag. Kasi pwede maging asawa yun ng mga Egyptian. Okay? Tapos, ang kahuli-hulihan dyan, kasi dumadami pa rin direct killing. Kaya nakita natin sa story, the killing of the innocents. So, many of the babies from birth to 3 years old ay pinapapatay. Okay? Marami yun. Kaya nga si Moses doon sa story nga, nakaligtas, di ba? So, yun. So, the struggle.
Israelites experienced a period of great oppression in Egypt. They believed they were chosen and blessed by God. Despite this, they were enslaved and subjugated by the polytheistic, idol-worshipping people of Egypt, forced to work to death in the cities of Pharaoh, who claimed divinity for himself.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your very own.
This continued until a savior sent by God arrived. That savior was Moses. God instructed Moses to go to Pharaoh and lead Israelites out of Egypt. According to the Old Testament, the Israelites journeyed from Ramesses to Sukkoth. There were about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. They had stayed in Egypt for 430 years.
So you have seen them, marami talaga sila. Okay? And you know already what happened in the Exodus, di ba? So they had stayed in Egypt. Nakalagay 430 years sila nandoon. Okay? 400 years sila nagstay sa Egypt. So they were really continuing praying, Lord, the God of Abraham, the God of Jacob, and the God of Israel. So they were praying for deliverance. They continue to pray. They continue to trust their God. Okay? So, dumating naman si Moses. At nakita natin doon, this is the one thing that somehow they experienced, that God never abandoned them. That God continued to provide for us. Kahit natagalan, still, God fulfill His promises. Okay? Talagang hindi sila kinalimutan. Kahit nagtagal, basta. Ano yan? Kaya dito makikita mo na naramdaman talaga ng mga Israelites. Okay? They were called Hebrew. Kasi nga Hebrew means slaves. Okay? So, itong mga Israelites, they were able to experience that God truly fight for them. Kasi nga natalo nila Egyptian. The Egyptians considered to be superpower. Kung tutuusin, parang ngayon, ang pinakamalakas na bansa ngayon, Amerika. Parang tayong, parang ang Jews, parang ang Pilipinas. Wala tayong mga armas, wala tayong mga barko, wala tayong gano'ng mga, fighter planes, and so on and so forth. Pero, ganyan ang nangyari sa mga Hudyo. Yes, there are 6,000 Jews, 600,000 Jews. Pero, it's not because of their number, but because God fought for them. God fought for them. And they was able to realize, and they were able to remember this, that God is the one who fought for us, who cared for us, who liberated us. That's why they always celebrate the Passover peace. The Passover peace. That God came to us, okay, and saved us. In yun. Kaya lagi nila yan. Every year in the Passover celebration, lahat yung mga sa pamilya, kaya angkan nandyan, nakagather yan. Ang una-una magsasalita dyan, yung pinaka-bata. Yung tinatawag na Benjamin in the celebration. Who is the Benjamin in the room? Ibig sabihin, Benjamin, the youngest. Because in the 12 brothers, Benjamin is the youngest. Kaya sinasabi, who is the Benjamin in the class? O in the group? Who is the youngest? So yung pinakabatang lalaki sa celebration ng Passover up to now, tatayo yung pinakabata. Yung mga pwede na magsalita. Yung nalaman, hindi yung sanggol lang. Yung pinakabatang pwede na magsalita. Sabi niya, what makes this day, what make this day different from what make this night different from other nights? Kasi yung Passover feast, yung di ba yung the last plague na binigay sa mga Hudyo, yung the death of the firstborn. Okay? So, inutos ni Moses kasi sabi ng Diyos na dadating yung angel of death. Ngayon, para hindi kayo mamatay, kumuha kayo ng lamp, isang tupa, at patayin ninyo yun, at kunin niyo yung dugo niya, tapos ipahid niyo ang dugo ng tupa doon sa bintana at pintuan ninyo. Kaya pagdating ng anghel, okay, the angel of death, they will not go through. Okay, hindi pupunta sa through your houses, hindi papunta sa but they will go over. Kaya nga, they pass over. They did not go through the houses. So pag nakita nung anghel yung dugo, he will go over the houses. They will not enter through the houses. Kaya tinawag Passover celebration. So yun. So they were what makes this night different from other nights? And the one who will respond is the oldest man, and he will narrate what happened in Egypt. They were slaves, and they were forced to work, and they were persecuted, but God came and delivered us. Yan. So it took 430 years. And they were able to stay in, hindi naman throughout that 430 years, pahirap, hindi. In the first 100 years, they were prosperous. Kasi nga, they were favored by the foreign king of Egypt, yung mga Hyksos. But when the king was already a pure Egyptian, doon sila nahirap. Okay? So yun. Kaya this moment of triumph really was the event that convinced them that God will always be with us. And eventually, God made a covenant that God promised to be faithful to the people of God. And the people of God also promised, sige, susundin namin lahat. But they were not able to fulfill. But even though the people became unfaithful, God continued to be faithful to them. Kaya itong pinaghahawakan ng mga Hudyo, na hindi tayo iiwanan ng Diyos. Yan ang pangako niya. Ganon din sa atin, na hindi tayo susukuan ng Diyos. God will not abandon us. God will continue to fulfill His promises to each one of us. Okay?
The Ten Commandments were also revealed to Israelites through Moses. According to the Old Testament, the first of the Ten Commandments formed the foundation of Jewish belief, which is the oneness of God or monotheism. Jewish culture developed based on this divine command. Therefore, the Ark of the Covenant, which contained the Ten Commandments and other revelations given to Moses, became the most valued possession and symbol of the Jewish people. Under the command of Joshua, who succeeded Moses, Israelites carried
the Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant, their most sacred relic.
That is considered to be very, very sacred. Kaya napakabanal niyan. Okay? There are only priests that can take hold of the Ark of the Covenant. So hindi natin alam kung ano yung itsura ng Ark of the Covenant. Ito yung binubuhat nila palagi. Okay. So sinasabi, God is present in here. Ito. Nandito sa gitna. That's why two angels of cherubim are bowing. It means that the presence of God is in the middle. Nandito. Okay, nandito. Gawa sa kahoy ito. At doon sa loob ng Ark of the Covenant, may laman sa loob yan eh. Sinabi nga dyan, yung una-una, yung the two tablets of the covenant. Okay? The two commandments in two tablets. Yun na nando sa loob. May tatlong objects sa loob niyan. One is the tablets of the commandments. Okay, the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. Ano pa yung dalawa? Ano pa yung dalawang content ng Ark of the Covenant? Ano pa? Miles. Alam mo pa kung ano? Hello, Miles. Hello, Miles. Hi. Miles. So, ang laman ng Ark of the Covenant, tatlo yan. Isa yung Ark of the Covenant. Ay, yung Ten Commandments. Ano pa? Dalawa yon. Dalawa pa ang laman nun.
Yung ano po ba? Yung rod ni Aaron?
Yung? Ano, Miles?
Aaron's rod po.
Ha?
Yung ano po? Yung pot of manna?
Very good. Yung mana. Okay, yun isa. Parang tinapay yun. Okay, parang tinapay yun. Kasi gutom na nagdasal si Moses at i-pray for God to bring them food. Yun, binigay yung mana. Okay, very good. Plus 20 miles, place it yung paper. Ano pa? So we have the mana and we have the the tablet of the commandments. Ano pa? Robbie. Hello, Robbie. Robbie, hello. Hello, Robbie. Yes, ano pa? So we have the tablets of the commandments and the pot of manna. Ano pa yung pangatlo? Yung pangatlo, yun ang it came from the property of Aaron, kapatid ni Moses. Anong gamit ni Aaron na nilagay doon sa Ark of the Covenant? Doon sa loob ng Ark of the Covenant, yun parang kahon na yun, na may angel dalawa. Ano pa yung isa na yun? Ano, Robbie, alam mo?
Hindi po.
Hindi. Yung ginagamit ng matatanda, pero mas mahaba yun.
Tungkod po. Ay,
Yes!
okay.
Yung tungkod. The staff of Aaron. Plus 20. So, bakit tungkod? Ba't nilagay din yung tungkod? Kasi nga, the very first high priest, ang kauna-unahang pari ng mga Hudyo, ng mga Israelites, ay si Aaron, kapatid ni Moses. Okay? Sabi ni Moses, oh, God told me that my brother will be the first high priest. Sabi ng mga tao, bakit naman yung kapatid mong magiging pare? Ano sabi ng Diyos? Sabi ni Moses, naman, totoo ba naman ang Diyos na nagsabi? Baka gusto mo lang talaga yung kapatid mo ang maging high priest. Kasi nga, pag ginawa nga high priest yun, lahat ng mga operatory, lahat ng mga pera bibigay, yung high priest ang magmamanage. Kaya yung iba sabi, bakit kami naman? Para silang manage yung mga ibibigay sa kasi nga, maraming mag-o-offer eh. Okay? Kaya sabi nila, kami naman, baka naman hindi ang Diyos ang pumili, baka ikaw lang pumili. Sige. So get a candidate that you want them to be chosen as the high priest of our temple. Yung temple nila dati tent lang yun. Kaya kasama nila palagi pag tigil nila, lalagay nila sa gitna yun. Okay? Tapos magbano sila ng tent. Okay? At doon nila lalagay doon. So, may tent yun. Pero pagdating na kay Solomon, gumawa na siya ng a stone temple. So yun. Nung nangyari nga, sige, aka na. So yung mga kahoy, yung mga tungkod, tinusok sa lupa. 12 yon sa 12 tribes of Israel The 12 tribes. So yun. Then they pray. Nagdasal sila lahat. Okay? At ano nangyari na? Bakit na pumayag na sila? Ano nangyari? Anong ginawa ng Diyos kung bakit si Moses ay si Abraham si Aaron na ang tinanggap nilang ano nakita nila doon sa tungkod? Ano nangyari sa tungkod ni Aaron na naniwala na sila na ang Diyos nang gumawa ng himala? Anong himala ang ginawa ng Diyos? Ano nangyari doon sa tungkod ni Aaron? Pay? Hello, Pay Marie? Hello, Pay Marie? Hello, Pay? 1. 2. Hello, Pay Marie? Wala. Okay, 1. Okay. Sulat ko na, Pay, wala ka. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. How about you, Louie? Hello, Louie.
Sir,
Anong nangyari sa tungkod ni Aaron kung bakit nalaman nila na ang Diyos talaga ang pumili sa kanya? Ano nagkaroon doon sa tungkod ni Aaron?
Yun po ba yung sa dagat, sir?
Sa?
Di po ako sure eh.
Gawa sa kahoy yun. Gawa sa puno. Ano mostly nangyayari pag namumunga yung puno? May Patricia. You want to answer, Patricia? Hindi. Louie, ano nangyayari doon sa puno? Mostly, ano nangyayari sa puno? Ano nagkakaroon sa puno?
Pag ano po?
Ano nangyayari? Usually, ano nangyayari sa mostly tumutubo sa puno? Nagkakaroon ng
Bunga po ba?
Patricia, may gusto sumagot? Patricia, you're raising your hand. Ano sagot mo?
Sir, may sanga.
Nagkaroon ng mga sanga. Ano nagkakaroon? Ano tumubo?
Branches po.
Nagkaroon ng mga dahon at bulaklak. So, overnight lang, pero pagkita nila, by the morning, nagkaroon na ng mga dahon at bulaklak. Overnight lang. At nakita natin, hindi maitatanggi yun kasi yung bawat stop nila, yung mga tungkod nila, may ukit yun. Kasi yung mga stop niyan, ibinibigay yan sa susunod na magiging na pinuno na kanilang angkan, na kanilang tribe. May ukit yan. Yes, nakita nila na ito ay talaga, ito ang so plus 20 plus 20. So yun na nangyari ngayon. Kaya nga sinasabi dito, bakit nilagay yung tungkod? Bakit nilagay yung mana? Bakit nilagay yung Ten Commandment? Dahil all of these things, the tablet of commandments was touched by God. And also, the manna, it came from God. It was touched by God. And the third thing, yung tungkod was touched by God. That's why it bloomed with leaves and flowers. So they considered it very sacred. Okay, very sacred because those things, those three things was touched by God. So they place it inside the Ark of the Covenant because they are the one, those things are touched by God. So yun. So yun ang pinakanan natin. Okay? So we continue with the video.
As they conquered Canaan, they fought against idol-worshipping tribes, and their rallying cry was, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." Under Joshua, Israelites battled idol-worshipping factions in Canaan, a struggle lasting generations due to their tribal division. Lacking a central state, they rallied around religious judges during wars. Their plea for monarchy led Samuel to appoint Saul as king, initiating Israel's monarchy, which saw victories. Yet it was David, a Judahite, not Saul's descendant, who founded Israel's first dynasty, elevating its power unprecedentedly. He conquered the city of Jerusalem and made it the capital. King David engaged in conflict with various tribes, including the Philistines, who hailed from the Aegean area, likely modern-day Crete, and settled in Canaan around 1175 BC. They inhabited a strategically valuable coastal region of Canaan, extending from Gaza in the south to Tel Qasil, close to what is now Tel Aviv. This region was particularly fertile and lay along a vital international trade corridor. Their urban centers were 5 main cities: Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Ekron, and Gath, situated along Canaan's southern coast. In the most famed clash, David faced off against the Philistine giant Goliath during an extensive conflict between the two nations. He was successful not only militarily, but also diplomatically. During David's time, the territories controlled by the Israelites expanded from the Sinai Peninsula in the south to the Euphrates River in the north. One of David's biggest ambitions was to build a grand temple to house the Ark of the Covenant, which had been carried on backs or hidden away in obscure places until then. However, this task fell to his son, Solomon. Solomon commissioned a magnificent temple in Jerusalem, where the Ark of the Covenant was placed. After centuries of migrations, wars, and chaos, Israelites found prosperity, peace, and security. They would never again attain the peace and security they had during the reigns of David and Solomon. On the contrary, the nation would first be torn from within, then crushed by their enemies. Upon Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam ascended to the throne. However, Rehoboam's leadership was met with resistance, particularly due to his refusal to lighten the tax burden as demanded by Jeroboam and the people, leading to the division of the united monarchy into the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah around 931 BC. The 10 northern tribes made Jeroboam their king, while only the tribes of Judah and Benjamin remained under Rehoboam's rule alongside the Levites. The division resulted in a period of political instability and conflict, with both kingdoms experiencing various degrees of prosperity and challenge. This separation marked the beginning of 2 distinct political entities: the northern kingdom, with its capital eventually in Samaria, and the southern kingdom, which continued to have its capital in Jerusalem. In 722 BC, Samaria was invaded by the Assyrians. With this invasion, 10 tribes living in the northern kingdom of Israel gradually vanished from the historical stage. Most were exiled and assimilated, losing their identities wherever they went. From that day on, they were referred to as the 10 Lost Tribes of Israel. The southern kingdom of Judah, governed by the lineage of David, lasted longer. In 587 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon invaded Jerusalem, overthrowing the kingdom of Judah. Jerusalem was razed to the ground, and more importantly, the temple built by Solomon was destroyed. Most Jews were enslaved and exiled to Babylon. This period of captivity lasted 50 years until the Persian conquest of Babylon. Cyrus the Great, the Persian king, issued a decree in 538 BC that allowed the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple, effectively granting them the status of a self-governing province within the Achaemenid Persian Empire. This strategy was designed to secure the loyalty of his new citizens by honoring their cultural and religious customs. For the first time in history, a nation was returning to its homeland. The recovery following the return took 70 years, culminating in 458 BC with the rise of Ezra, a priest. Ezra, along with his assistant Nehemiah, began rebuilding Solomon's temple, which had been in ruins for about 150 years. This marked the beginning of what is known in Jewish history as the Second Temple period. During most of this period, Jews lived under foreign rule. The only period of independence during the Second Temple period came with the Hasmonean kingdom, established following the Maccabean revolt, historically known as the Maccabean Uprising. The revolt, which erupted in 167 BC, was a Jewish rebellion against the Seleucid Empire and its Hellenistic influence, particularly under King Antiochus IV. Antiochus's imposition of foreign customs and religion, including a ban on Jewish practices and desecration of the temple, sparked widespread dissent. The revolt was catalyzed when Mattathias, a Jewish priest, refused to perform a pagan sacrifice and killed a fellow Jew who did so, as well as a Seleucid official. This act of defiance led to an open rebellion led by Mattathias and his sons, known as the Maccabees. The rebellion didn't just remain an uprising, it succeeded in liberating Jerusalem from pagan invaders and achieved success in a short span of time. In 164 BC, the traditional festival of Hanukkah was celebrated in the Temple of Jerusalem, which had been cleansed of all pagan gods and symbols. Jews refer to this as a pure festival. In 63 BC, Roman commander Pompey captured Jerusalem and overthrew the Hasmonean state, marking the end of the last independent Jewish kingdom in history. From that point on, until the 7th century AD, with a few brief interruptions, the land was governed by the Romans. Initially, the relationship between Rome and the province of Judea and its Jewish inhabitants was unproblematic. A minor Jewish revolt that occurred in 53 BC was suppressed by Rome. This revolt did not significantly damage relations, but over time, relations between the two sides deteriorated. The crucifixion of Jesus, a Jewish preacher who was seen by his followers as the Messiah, in the early 1st century AD, further complicated Jewish-Roman relations. While the event itself was part of a broader pattern of Roman responses to perceived challenges to their authority, it also had particular consequences for the Jewish community. Following the crucifixion, tensions between the Jewish leadership, who were concerned about maintaining the peace with Rome, and the growing number of Jesus followers, who were predominantly Jewish at the time, began to rise. These internal divisions added to the already complex dynamics of Judean society under Roman rule. By the year 66 AD, the Jews initiated a major revolt, which soon escalated into the First Jewish-Roman War. The Romans were militarily and technologically superior to the Jews, but the province of Judea was quite far from the empire's center, making logistical support challenging. Consequently, the wars between the Romans and Jews continued for 7 years. In the summer of 70 AD, Emperor Titus entered Jerusalem after a long siege, destroying the city's walls and the city itself once again. The Second Temple also fell victim to the destruction. A large portion of the Jews in the city were killed, and the remaining 97,000 Jews were captured, enslaved, and taken to Rome. About 30,000 of these were settled in Carthage. According to historian Josephus, those who managed to escape dispersed to the eastern Mediterranean and Mesopotamia. History repeated itself, and the Jews were exiled once again, this time by another empire. The Arch of Titus in Rome, built after Emperor Titus's death in 81 AD, celebrates the victory of Vespasian and Titus in the Jewish War. Its relief depicts the spoils taken from Jerusalem's temple, including the menorah and showbread table. Israel adopted the menorah as its emblem in 1949, inspired by the arch's imagery. Sometime after the capture of Jerusalem in 70 AD, a Roman colony was established on the city's ruins, Aelia Capitolina. The first Jewish-Roman wars completely ended in 73 AD. The Roman policy of enslavement led to a decrease in the Jewish population in the region, but a considerable number of Jews continued to live in and around Jerusalem. However, a new unrest, called Bar Kokhba Revolt, that broke out in 132 AD, would change this situation. Now, a massive temple of Jupiter stood where the former temple had been, and the city had essentially turned into a Roman military garrison. Roman historian Cassius Dio described the scene after the revolt. 50 of their most important outposts and 985 of their most famous villages were razed to the ground. 580,000 men were slain in the various raids and battles, and the number of those that perished by famine, disease, and fire was past finding out. Thus, nearly the whole of Judea was made desolate. The consequences of the Bar Kokhba revolt were indeed devastating for the Jews. Jewish war prisoners were recaptured by the Romans and sold as slaves. Jews were prohibited from entering Jerusalem except on certain religiously significant days. Following the conflicts between the Jews and Rome, Emperor Hadrian renamed the Judean province to Syria Palestina. This designation was derived from the Philistines, historic adversaries of the Israelites, as a strategy to diminish Jewish association with the territory. Additionally, as a result of the wars, the number of Jews voluntarily migrating from Judea significantly increased. Jewish prisoners and their children who were sold as slaves were later freed and joined local free communities. When Islamic armies conquered Palestine in 638 AD, the Jewish population was approximately 150,000. However, they were still prohibited from entering Jerusalem. Caliph Omar lifted this ban upon capturing the city. After 500 years, Jews regained the freedom to settle in Jerusalem. Although some restrictions were imposed over time, these did not significantly limit Jewish freedoms. Nevertheless, high taxes, particularly on agricultural lands, led many Jews to migrate from rural areas to cities and ultimately to emigrate from the country. By the end of the 11th century, the Jewish population in Palestine had decreased significantly. The Crusaders seized Jerusalem in 1099, marking an era of heightened persecution and violence against Jews during the Crusades. European Jewish communities, particularly along the Rhine and Danube, suffered devastating attacks. This violence spread fear as far as Jewish communities in the Middle East. In Haifa, Jewish and Muslim forces united against the Crusaders, yet faced mass slaughter upon the city's defeat. The Crusaders spared no one, taking the lives of all they encountered, regardless of age or faith, including Jewish and Muslim women and children. Similarly, in Jerusalem, Jews and Muslims.
So you see here that really, in this history, ano dyan, pinakamahirap dyan eh. Sino ang can you write it in your discussion box? What empire that was able to destroy the second temple of Israel? Okay, what is the empire? Okay, what empire that was able to destroy the second temple of Israel? The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, but who destroyed the second temple of Israel? Okay, so ito yung makikita natin, they fought one this conqueror is known to be one of the powerful empire in the world. Okay, so anong empire who is an empire that destroyed the second temple? The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, but who destroyed the second temple of the Jews? Whose empire? Okay? Yun din yung empire na pumatay kay Jesus. Okay, can you write down? So, 4 words lang yun, 4 words. Okay? Sino? 4 words o ano? Yung kanilang pala yung lugar ay 4 words. Pero pag mga 2 syllable. Yung mga the name of the people, Roma. Hindi ko na sabihin. Can you write down in your discussion box who is the empire that destroyed the second temple of Israel? Okay, the first temple was destroyed by Babylon. So the second temple, who destroyed the second temple of Israel? Start with the letter R. Kindly answer. Come on. Still not 10 seconds more to answer. So kindly answer. So the first temple was destroyed by Babylon. And who is the one who destroyed the second temple of Israel? Okay, come on, answer. 10 seconds more. Come on, answer. Okay. Yan, okay. So thank you very much. So kindly answer naman. Yes. Can I call on Jaden? Hello, Jaden K.
The Roman Empire po.
Very good, plus 20. So makikita mo dito, the Jews became prosperous and they became enslaved, then they become again prosperous, then they became they were defeated, and they were able to return to their temple and they rebuilt it. Then eventually it was destroyed by the Romans and they were scattered around. They became slaves, but they were able to continue to exist because they believe that God will continue to guide them, provide to them, and fight for them. Yeah, even up to now, okay, they continue to persist. They continue to be resilient, never giving up, and continue to believe that God will always be with us, overcoming all problem, difficulties, and challenge. So that is also the thing that we have. We have also was able to adapt. We are Filipinos who are also resilient, never giving up. Kaya nga sinasabi, Bathala, andyan si Bathala, bahala ang Diyos, andyan siya, tutulungan tayo. Kaya do not ever give up. Because the Israelite taught us and gave us a very, very, a trait of a Filipino that we do not give up easily. Okay? Kaya kita mo na binagyo na, nilindol na, tapos ang dami sakuna, pero ang mga Pilipino nakangiti pa rin. Kasi naandyan ang Diyos. Kaya religion really help us to see beyond the present situation that we have. Kaya nahihirapan kayo sa pag-aaral, nahihirapan kayo sa pag-review, nahihirapan kayo sa mga requirements, pero you never give up. Okay? Kaya nga mga Pilipino magagaling kahit pumunta sa iba-ibang bansa, they can adapt. At hindi lang nakakapag-adapt, and they were able to strive. Maraming Pinoy ang umuunlad sa iba-ibang bansa because we have adopted, we have learned from the religion and the belief of the Jews. So continue to strive no matter what. But sorry over tayo. So thank you very much. So continue to strive and continue to believe that God will always be with us because God always promised to provide and to be with us. So God bless everyone. Bye, lady. Angel, bye-bye. Patricia, bye-bye. Giselle, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Pay, bye-bye.
Thank you po.
Thank you rin.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Jasmine, bye-bye. Ingat kayo, John, bye-bye. May, bye-bye.